needless to say, this is an important race. It was brought to our attention last week that we were not aware of, that in Texas state races, there is no cap. So people can donate whatever they want. I can only imagine there has got to be at least one corporate Democratic candidate in this race that you're going up against. I would assume, as we were made aware, based on your endorsements, you do not take corporate special interest money. So what is ultimately going to make the difference for you over the next few weeks as early voting has begun?
Yeah. So early voting started on Monday. So it's been crunch time. Go. I was out pole greeting in the rain today. Rained in Dallas. Look, it's a crowded race. We've got 5 people in this race. Anytime you get a safe blue seat with no incumbent, right, it gets some attention. It's me. I'm a middle school teacher now. I have a background in economics before that, but I'm up against 3 lawyers and a political consultant, and so they've got deep pockets. We have more endorsements than everyone else combined. We're very proud of that, but we are not leading in funding in the same way. So,
well, if anybody wants to contribute to me, what is your website?
Leal for Texas, Leal, lealfortexas.com/donate. And that'll take you right to our active page.
Guys, spread some love to Texas. You know what I mean? I always thought that, I'm a little jealous because we're Florida. And I always thought that Texas was always going to sort of be like a red suffering place like we have, and sort of misery loves company. And now Texas is sort of like kind of, gaining, it's making progress. It's a little bit unsettling for me. We're losing.
And I heard some of the commentary earlier too, and I put, I have a little unorthodox view on this, in that, one of the big things that we're pushing for, in our campaign is Texas does have a very prominent progressive legacy that a lot of people aren't aware of. And I don't just mean Democratic, I mean progressive legacy, starting, back in the last Gilded Age, and people like Sam Rayburn, who was an architect of the New Deal. FDR gets all the credit, but Sam Rayburn himself hand wrote the bill that created the SEC, the FTC, the FCC, and he did these things because he had actually done them in Texas like 10, 20 years earlier sometimes, and creating 8-hour work days for rail workers and stuff like that. And then on to, Lyndon Johnson and Wright Patman. Texas actually had antitrust, laws against monopolies. We were the second state in the nation to have antitrust laws, even before the federal government did. And so, there was really a legacy here that sort of, because for a while, people like Sam Rayburn, he's the longest serving Speaker of the House in U.S. history. And so he led the party for half a century. And a lot of this like party of the people stuff, I argue it has a lot of Texas DNA on it, progressive Texas populism, as we call it. And so, and it's been 3 decades. Now we've been in a drought, 3 decades since a Democrat has won a statewide race here in Texas. And, we kind of walk around like with our tail between our legs, like we don't belong here. And it's like, no, guys. We do have something here to be proud of. And if we want to make the state politically blue again, electorally blue again, then we need to have a spine and act like it and act like we belong here, and that prove that these are Texas values, progressive Texas values is what we call them.
Well, you were a resident at the time.
I love Texas. My son was born in Texas. I lived there for 6 years in San Antonio, and I loved it there. So I had nothing but the best experience with Texans and Texas. And I loved San Antonio in particular. Now, granted, a lot of that is based on the Mexican food scenarios there, because they're really.
I've been there.
I'm just saying.
San Antonio was not my jam, but the best Tex-Mex food I've ever.
I love San Antonio, and I am a Spurs fan. And actually, my son's middle name is Avery, for Avery Johnson.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I will give you that. Yeah. San Antonio is very, it's a cute place. It's quaint, it's got a lot of charm to it. But, obviously I'm Dallas born and raised. So.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man, as a basketball fan, 2011, that's the best postseason run I've ever seen.
Yes, I was studying abroad in London at the time with my friend Matt Leck, who is a producer on The Majority Report. So I was staying up until 2 a.m. finding bars that showed American sports, because it was like, the Mavs are in the finals, I got to find a way to watch these games.
Well,
Avery Johnson coached them.
That's true. He did. He unfortunately coached them when the league was very unkind to them in the finals.
Tidbit of trivia.
But we are big fans of Mark Cuban. We appreciate anybody who is in that position of power and influence who does give back and is looking to do the right thing. We need more people at that level to recognize just how dire our circumstances are these days. Just the fact that, we weren't even aware that there is no financial cap, that you can literally buy state house elections. And of course, I have no doubt that the GOP has a heavy hand in that. But of course, the corporate Democrats are going to play by the same rules. We know that we can't actually change it unless we stand on principle. So with that said, how is the race looking for you at this point? And is it looking like there's going to be an opportunity to potentially pull this off?
Yeah. We're very optimistic. It looks really good now. It's a 5-way race, and so that means, look, and internally on our team, we're pushing to avoid a run, 50% plus ones. Like, when you got 5 people, like I'm a numbers person, I understand that is a likely reality. That's something to be very concerned about, though, because as you guys probably know, in these runoff elections, these things can be stolen, and it can come down to who's got the most money because your own donors are exhausted and your volunteers are tired, right? And you're like lurching to the finish line. And then it's like, if you've got, deep pockets, you just flood the market with mailers and stuff. Like we saw that happen in New York, in Buffalo and stuff. So, we are pushing to avoid it, but, we feel pretty good. We're in a good place. We're getting a lot of good feedback on the ground. Our signs, this has been the most recent source of drama for us. Is, like I said, all our signs very prominently progressive Texas Democrat, and had a lot of signs go missing lately or being vandalized or destroyed and putting them out. And, and so, hey, look, we're proud to be the campaign that the other side.
It's like junior high. It's like junior high school with these people. Yeah. I honestly, it was absurd to me. The what people, it's just, it's disappointing to me that adulthood contains these sorts of shenanigans. I also want to point out what you don't know is the Texas Constitution is insane. Okay. And when I say that the Texas Constitution is insane, I mean, it's insane. It's larger than any other. It's ginormous. And actually in Texas, the lieutenant governor has actual more authority than the governor.
I've heard that.
And people don't know. Texas is like its whole own place.
Yeah. It's from the 1874 version. They just only, amended it since. Lieutenant governor is more popular. As you guys mentioned earlier, there's no cap on these financial races. And if elected, right, it pays $7,000 a year, and they meet every other year. And so it's designed to be, you've got to be independently wealthy or have a very, rich benefactor to support you to kind of have these jobs.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.